Welcome back to the show, everybody. You're listening to the College Basketball Discussion Podcast, Episode 3. I'm your host, Alex Freeman, bringing you the best college basketball discussion off-season stuff this side of the Mississippi. Probably. I don't know what side of the Mississippi we're on. I'm really not that good at geography, but welcome in. We've got a three-man show for you today. I'm going to introduce my co-host to you. Of course, as always, I got my good buddy Aaron Thrash here. How you doing, Aaron?
Hello. I'm good. Living life here in Nebraska. What can I say? It's Nebraska.
You recently got back from Colorado. How was that?
Let's not talk about that.
You don't want to?
No, it was fun. I always love going to Colorado. It's always a blast there. I would live there, but it's just too expensive right now.
I gotcha. Well, we do have a new buddy on here. We have our next co-host making his college basketball discussion podcast debut today. He was a little jealous of Aaron and I having so much fun, so he decided to make an appearance today. Let me tell you a little story about this co-host. At a young age, he's very lost and insecure. He's constantly searching for acceptance. He was looking for a college team and to cling to in order to give his life meaning, the typical 9-year-old thing to do, I'm sure. And, he's from the Syracuse area, and you know who we're talking about. It would make sense to be a Syracuse fan, don't you think? Don't you think, Aaron?
It would. I mean, it's like 10 minutes from where he lives, probably. I would assume so.
I would think it makes too much sense. And I think it made too much sense to him. So he ended up choosing to be a Michigan fan because he's got family that lives in Ann Arbor. And, again, I say that he chose. And in my expert opinion,
you chose poorly.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Mr. Dan Hamer.
Thank you. Glad to be on.
I will always say that you made the wrong decision, Dan.
That's fair. We all have our choices.
Yeah,
Aaron lives with corn, so
I mean,
he lives with the corn?
Yeah.
We don't discuss that.
Just one with that. Oh man. All right. Well, it's good to have you here, man. I'm glad we can have some Michigan State banter here. And we've gone back and forth enough times. You are one of the nicer Michigan fans I've met, and I appreciate that, obviously. So.
You're one of the meaner Michigan State fans I've met, so I appreciate that as well.
Thank you, buddy. All right. Well, you may wonder where our other co-hosts are. Of course, they're actually, it warms my heart. Chaz, Ben, and Bragan, of course. They are on a father, son, and son fishing trip. Wouldn't you believe it? How nice is that?
That's awesome. I'm
Just
jealous. I'm jealous.
Nice mid-July Saturday. Of course, it's July 14th at the time of recording this. They're out just fishing. Love it. Anyway, today we are continuing with our breakdown and analysis of the incoming freshmen in the class of 2018, and we're moving our focus to the ACC today. If you missed the last episode where we covered the Big Ten, you can go and listen to that on our YouTube channel or search for it in the Facebook group. Which, if you're hearing this on SoundCloud or YouTube and you have no idea who we are or what we're doing, we run one of the biggest college basketball groups on the web. The College Basketball Discussion Group is a community of nearly 4,000 college hoops fans from around the country. If you want to be a part of the tight-knit, highly active community, you can apply for the group at facebook.com/groups/college basketball discussion, or just search for College Basketball Discussion Group on Facebook. So we're just going to jump right into it today without further ado. We're going to get right into the ACC class of 2018, and we're starting with none other than, big shock, the Duke Blue Devils. They are ranked number 1 nationally and first in the ACC. They have the best, not only the best class in the country, but you could argue one of the best recruiting classes in the history of college basketball. You got 3 guys who I think at one time each were considered the number 1 recruit in the nation. I'm not sure about Cam Reddish, but I know for sure Zion and RJ Barrett both at times were number 1. So I'm just going to jump right in. Of course, the current number 1, according to 24/7 and ESPN, is RJ Barrett. He's a 6'7", 200-pound shooting guard, 5-star from Montverde, Florida. Of course, the basketball hotbed, it seems, these days. There's really nothing that RJ Barrett can't do. He's a prototypical number one guy. You know, he's they call him the left-handed Kobe, which I found kind of funny, but I think it's early justified. He's good. I don't know if he's Kobe good, of course, but he's an instant offense. Great ball handling, outside shot. He's got finesse inside to finish. He's speedy. He's got a quick release. He makes it look easy. It feels like he really has unlimited potential. He's got height, length, strength, finesse, sharp shot from outside. There's nothing I see in his tape that's really a weak spot. I don't know what you guys saw, but I didn't see much to complain about, really.
RJ Barrett's the man. I mean, he's the man. I can't. I haven't seen much on his defense, but he has the length, he has the size to be a good defender. I don't know his wingspan, but 6'7", 200 at the shooting guard position. That's going to be really good as far as defending other twos and eventually threes down the road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Dan, did you have anything to contribute? You can just jump on in whenever,
No, I'll just echo what you both said. Basically saw the same thing.
Okay.
Makes it look very easy.
All right. Cam Reddish, his I guess not backcourt mate. He's a small forward. He's 6'8", 211. Very similar build. He's from Norristown, Pennsylvania. He's number 2 with 24/7 and 3 from ESPN. He's a versatile guy. He can play any position on the floor. It looked like he was primarily used as a combo guard in high school, which I'm always a big fan of, like big guards. Like if you're 6'7", 6'8", and play in the guard position, you just kind of you get some brownie points with me. There's something I really enjoy about that.
Yeah.
But he's really quick for his size, good body control. His strength really isn't inside, despite his height. He's primarily a sharpshooter. I would say he's probably, I'd probably say he's a better shooter than RJ Barrett. But he's a solid defender as well. Again, with these 5-star guys, I always go into it very skeptical. I'm like, okay, what's the big deal? But again, Cam Reddish, another guy that there's really nothing to complain about. So.
No, I would definitely agree with that. The wingspan definitely is a huge thing. Like you said about RJ Barrett, 6'7", 211. That's a really good size for a small forward in college, so you're not. The only thing I would say with him is he's probably, because he was a combo guard in high school, I would say you're looking at like a point forward type role for him, possibly at Duke.
I could see that. Yeah, he's got the height to do that. Yeah. And he's got a good stroke from outside. So, Coach K will do what he wants with these guys. He's got, obviously, last year I described their team as Coach K going to a basketball star supermarket and just picking out the most expensive items. Like that's essentially what this team is as well. It's just
a lot better.
It is. It's a lot better. And my favorite guy here, and we're gonna. I know Aaron and I are gonna have a little discussion about this. Zion Williamson.
Okay.
I can't wipe this smile off my face. He's a 5-star from Spartanburg, South Carolina. He's ranked 5th by 24/7, number 2 by ESPN. His hops are almost non-human. He's the best dunker in the class. It's evident why he was considered number 1 for a good period in this class. He plays with a tremendous amount of energy. He's a phenomenal shot blocker. He's got a decent mid-range and outside shot as well. He just doesn't use it that much. But he was straight up clowning high school opponents. He has the dirtiest tape in the 2018 class. I'm declaring it right now. It's dirty. You're going to need a shower after you watch this tape. He's quickly turning into one of my favorites in the class. Probably not my absolute favorite. Y'all know who my absolute favorite is. If you don't, you obviously haven't paid attention in the group. We'll get to him down the road. But
eventually.
Zion. Wow. Now, Aaron, I believe you have some gripe with Zion.
I don't have gripe. I think he's a good player. I'm just curious about how the fit is going to be. Because when I look at it from a basketball perspective, he's 6'6", 275. They're more than likely they're going to run Trey Jones, RJ, Cam, Zion at the 4. Now, granted, today's basketball is positionless. and then one of the sophomore, junior at the center. Who really cares? His job is going to be to get rebounds. My gripe with him is how does he fit with this team? And
Zion's a perfect modern day 4. I don't know how you don't see that.
we'll see. Him being 6'6" and 275, I want to see him go up against better athletes.
Yeah, but I think he is a better athlete than most of them. They might have the height, but he plays a lot bigger than his height.
And
like that's
I don't disagree. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I want to see the product on the court first, because if we're being honest, they're going to lean on RJ and Cam next year, more than likely. Zion's going to take
when you do that, and you have a guy like Zion Williamson as a
third
not
option,
really a reserve, but a third option.
Oh, I agree.
I mean, can you guys hear the smile on my face?
I want to see the product.
Can't tell it all.
Yeah.
I want to see the product first. I want to see the.
I think I saw the product already, dude. Like, holy cow.
Okay, but
Holy
we've
cow.
seen guys who can dominate high school before and then they get
Exactly.
into college and
You're
then
right.
can't do anything. Look at DeJuan Coleman at Syracuse.
Exactly.
Granted,
Thank you for referencing the most obscure player.
well,
I mean, it's valid. It is valid. And the competition he was going up against in high school, who's to say it was the best competition he could face?
Well, you're not going to find the elite competition in Spartanburg, South Carolina,
exactly.
but when you're in Durham, North Carolina, we're going to find out if he's a contender or a pretender.
Exactly.
I say he's a contender. If y'all want to be skeptical, you can, but
I'm not
not
skeptical necessarily. I want to see it first before I go yay or nay. I'm not one to
I
jump the
already saw
gun. I'm not one to jump the gun right away. I want to see.
I jumped it. I jumped the gun. I jumped the fence. I fought the law, and the law might win, but I did it, man.
know. I mean, we might need to take you to jail, but that's beside the point.
That's right. I am in love with Zion. All right.
Let's
Sue
go.
me. All right. Trey Jones. Let's discuss Trey Jones. He's the younger brother of Tyus Jones.
Yep.
6'3", 175 point guard. He's from St. Paul, Minnesota. Ranked 15th by 24/7, 17th by ESPN. He's a very high energy, quick player, fast hands, great ball handling skills. He's one of the better defensive point guards I've seen in this class. He's just very, very quick.
I didn't know that.
And he's a high energy guy. He's really not the offensive stalwart that you might expect for a guy ranked this high, but I think he'll be good. I think he's coming in probably better than Tyus was, and
which
Tyus
is good.
Yeah, Tyus developed to be a great point guard. So I think Trey Jones has a higher ceiling than Tyus personally, and I think he comes in better right now. But yeah, I think he struck me as a good thinker. He adapted to his opponents really quickly, and he excelled. So I think he'll do just fine at the next level. So, and the funny thing about Duke's class is those 4 guys, all very highly touted, all top 15 guys. You can argue top 10 guys. Trey Jones is a little smaller than that, or a little lower, but you see all these. We do most of our recruiting video looking on YouTube, obviously, and you see all these side videos where those 4 dudes, they're just having a heck of a time, best of friends, and you're like, wow, it's a really good recruiting class. And then you got this Joey Baker kid. He's this real unassuming white dude who's also in the recruiting class that they don't make any mention of.
He reclassified.
It really makes me wonder. What's that?
He reclassified. That's why.
What do you mean?
He was originally in the 19 class, and then he committed.
Ew.
You didn't know
yeah,
that,
but
did
he's
you?
still a forgotten
guess
guy
not.
in this class. Everybody.
He is. No, he is. He definitely is. I will say that.
It's funny. The first video I look up of Joey Baker, he's got all his high school teammates just jumping around and hyping up, and he's just kind of standing on the outside like he's just not doing a thing.
Typical,
he's real quiet, strikes me.
Typical
but
Duke
he's
guy.
a total misfit, it looks like, with these guys. He led his high school team to the state championship. He's a good shooter, good rebounder. He can catch and shoot, but he can also create his own shot. He's good defensively. He might come off the bench, to play the 3. He's probably, I don't know if he's a one and done guy. I think he needs a little more work than that. But,
I don't think so.
Yeah, a lot of this class isn't, one and done. We've heard so many times that This is a weaker class. I don't know if I necessarily buy into that. There's a lot of good talent in this class, but
It's a weaker class until the draft comes and they get to see the product on the court. I don't listen to the talking heads about this being a weaker class. They said the same thing last year. I remember that.
yeah. And this
This class was really deep.
Yeah, look at the if you go back years from now and look at the 2018 draft, I think will be like, wow,
Yep.
real big eye opener.
Yep.
But yeah, Joey Baker, he's a pretty good kid. Yeah, I don't have much bad to say about him. He's okay in the post. He's got pretty predictable moves. But yeah, I think he's going to be a catch and shoot guy, or prototypical small forward. But with all the talent that they have, he's probably going to come off the bench.
Yep.
But yeah. So how we did it this time around, guys, if you can't tell, well, you will be able to tell here. We broke it down. We gave kind of everyone a school to talk about. Saved us a little bit on the research end. And also you're going to hear more voices other than mine. So I'm going to hand it off to Aaron here, who's taking a look at North Carolina, 14th nationally, best class and second in the ACC. And he's going to talk about his little man crush, Nasir Little here. So go for it, Aaron.
To start things off, I love North Carolina's class as a whole. They have three guys that, when I watch them, I love them. Obviously, Nasir Little. Whenever I watch him, I just think he's a man-child. On a couple of his dunks, I could have sworn he was going to tear down the rim. If you go back and watch, it looked like he was going to tear down the rim. He's very skilled for his size. He can take you off the dribble. He can score at all three levels. He can shoot from deep. The reason I like him so much, he's probably my favorite prospect in this class. He plays with 100% intensity at all times. That doesn't go unnoticed by me. I love guys that leave it on the court and playing games that don't matter. The thing, and the reason I say that, he was the MVP in the McDonald's All-American game when he was guarded by Zion a lot, and he guarded Zion a lot. And there was two straight plays I remember where he stripped Zion coming down the court. And he has the tools to be an elite defender at the next level. One thing I noticed when watching his tape, he advocates for the one-and-done rule. You don't see that nowadays. He advocates for it. He likes the one-and-done rule.
I like the one-and-done rule.
I agree.
I'm right there with him, but I probably like it for a different reason than him, obviously. But
he likes it because he feels the jump from high school to pros is big, and we all can agree about that.
Absolutely.
You don't see that now. That just caught me off guard. He seems like he has his head in the right place. He plays with his heart. I love guys like that. I absolutely love guys like that. His biggest weakness that I noticed, even though it's not really weakness because he's a 3, he can play the 4 as well. They can throw him at the 4 if they want to, and he will not get bullied. Would be ball handling and passing. He can handle the ball. There was times where he ran a fast break by himself, but he doesn't have a go-to move with his ball handling, if that makes sense.
You know what I noticed about Nasir Little is what's great is he steps right into the Theo Pinson role.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, that's a void that was obviously left, but he takes right over and has potential to be a better Theo Pinson. I don't know if he'll stay.
He's probably one
like Theo did, but yeah, I mean, just for the year though. I mean, that's huge for Roy to get a guy like that.
It is. The second guy, Kobe White. I don't know if you guys know this. He's the leading scorer in North Carolina high school basketball history.
I did not know that.
Yes. Over 3,500 points. So the guy can score. The guy can flat out score. He can score at all three levels on an elite level. He can score from mid-range. He can score from deep. He can take it to the hole. And when he takes it to the hole, he doesn't look like he can dunk. He can dunk that well. Don't let that fool you. He will yam it on your face.
He will yam it?
He will yam it.
I love it. Oh, go on.
He seems like a good decision maker with the ball. He can play on or off, and that's going to be key at North Carolina next year because they have a void left by Joe Barry leaving next year at the point guard. They have a two that I forget his name. He's a senior. But they also have their point guard next year. Their supposed upperclassman point guard is Seventh Woods, junior.
Right.
He hasn't really impressed Roy that much, from what I can tell. And I was looking into it. Roy said Seventh can score 30 points a game, but if he doesn't keep the ball in front of him and not turn it over, he's going to go to the bench. So it's an open competition essentially. I don't think Roy thinks that highly of Seventh, to be honest. So,
which is crazy because he was a pretty highly touted.
No, he
recruit,
was a very highly touted recruit. We'll see how that goes because the point guard position is open right now. It's completely open. From everything I was reading, that position is open.
Yeah, Kobe. I noticed he was listed as a shooting guard, but I kind of thought of him as a point guard. He has very solid point guard skills.
He does.
He's got a complete skill set. There's really no holes in his game, and he's a tremendous finisher. I mean, he would drive to the hole with 2 or 3 guys on him, and he would just finish. You know, they were draped all over him. So he'll probably have to play a little less selfish at the next level. But again, he's a good distributor too.
He is. I noticed a couple passes he made that were elite. That you were like, okay, he's doing that in high school. Let's see what happens when he has Luke May around him, when he has Nasir Little, all those guys around him. It's gonna only elevate his play. He seems like he's another one of those kids that has his head in the right place. I like kids like that. This third guy, Rashawn Black, you're gonna like him. You're gonna like him, Alex. His nickname.
I saw a little bit of him.
His nickname is Leaky. I just want to throw that out there. So from now on, I'm referring to him as Leaky.
Go for it.
He's very versatile point forward. He primarily ran the point guard in high school. So there will be sets more than likely where they put him at the point and White at the 2 and Nasir at the 3. So that creates a lot of options. His high school coach was saying how his role is pass first. He wants to pass first. He can shoot. He can shoot from deep. He can drive. He can do pretty much anything as far as scoring. But his strength is passing and versatility as well. He can play 1 through the 4, which is very key. He's only 6'8", 175, so he needs to put on some weight. But I see him as a 3-4 year guy that is going to make a huge impact at UNC. Huge impact.
Yeah, I noticed he was really smooth on the court.
Yes.
Pretty good court vision. And it looked like he was just kind of putting up buckets and scoring pretty effortlessly.
Yep.
It looks like he has a really smooth stroke. So, again, another guy that fits Roy's system pretty well, I think, and looks like a solid player.
Oh yeah, he'll be a good guy. He won't be a one and done, obviously, but by his junior senior year, he's going to be one of the better players in the nation. I can stand by that.
Okay.
This transfer guy, KJ Smith, he's a son of Kenny the Jet Smith.
That's right.
He's walking on, no scholarship. He just wanted to play where his dad went to school. I don't envision.
It's pretty admirable because he won't do much.
No, he won't.
Yeah, he went to Pacific and he wasn't that good at Pacific.
No,
so,
he wasn't. He averaged, I think, like 5 points a game, if that.
3 points a game. He shot about 36%, about 21% from 3.
Yeah.
So good on you, KJ. Pretty admirable that you're coming out of North Carolina. Keep the seats warm, buddy.
Yeah, he didn't do much specific, like you said, and he'll probably ride the bench for 3 years. So
I would imagine so. We're going to move right along then to Notre Dame. They're ranked 15th nationally, just behind North Carolina, 3rd in the ACC. Now, originally, we were going to have our good buddy, our baritone, Bragan Kelly, on the show to talk about his beloved Notre Dame Irish, along with some of the other schools. He could not make it today, but he did take some notes, and he gave them to the rest of us. So Aaron is going to read off Notre Dame, and pretty much most of the credit here goes to Bragan for his outstanding research. I hope it's outstanding. So go for it.
It doesn't have any,
Mr. Thrash.
Okay, so Nate Lazewski?
Lazewski, I would say.
6'9", 210, number 15 power forward out of Mass. Rated as a 4-star by ESPN. He's great at shooting off the catch. Plays tough defense, goes hard for every ball. One thing Brandon did note, he lacks the ability to create his own shot. That could be troublesome eventually, but we'll see.
When I was watching him, I noticed he was a good catch and shoot guy.
Yeah.
He's got a really smooth outside stroke, so I don't know if he uses that enough, but looked pretty good. Also, I don't know if Bragan mentioned this, but his wingspan, my lord. I mean, the dude, I have him listed at 6'10". I think his wingspan, probably has to be, I would say 7'3". Really, really outrageous. So
that's crazy.
Versatile for sure. I think he could be a big deal for Mike Bray. So
needs to work on his ball handling and hit the weight room. He'll get bodied up hard by guys his size at the college level. Bragan compares him to Rex Pfluger.
Yeah, Rex
Pfluger, that guy.
Mm-hmm.
The second guy, Dane Goodwin, number 14 shooting guard out of Ohio, 6'5", 190, 4-star, graded by ESPN. From what Bragan is saying, he's a good ball handler, aggressive finisher at the rim, good rebounder, never skips a beat when boxing out. So that's good at his size. If he can rebound the ball at his size, I like that guys like that.
Mm-hmm.
Makes good clean cuts away from the ball. Needs to make better decisions when passing the ball. Anything you want to know?
I mean, Notre Dame's they're missing a lot of guys. Their roster's kind of bones right now, but they're bringing in. They got 4 guys in the top 100 for ESPN.
Yep.
So, they got really good class coming in, and guys who will fill in right away.
This year could be a rebuilding year, but once these guys start to progress, they'll start being a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
The fourth guy, Robbie Carmody.
Carmody.
Number 21 small forward out of Pennsylvania. He's great as a 4-star, 6'4", 185. Likes to gamble, playing the passing lane, so that tells me
he likes to gamble?
Yes.
Is that a hobby, or is that...
Alex's new favorite recruit right there.
Yeah. Let's go, Robbie. I'm pretty close to Notre Dame, about 3 hours. Let's go gamble, man.
Do we need to take away your credit card?
Heck no, man.
Playing the
job pays for it.
Playing the passing lanes, that means. Always the first one back in transition offense. Does not go for the boards on defense. So that could be selfish, some would say, but we'll see if college coaches can fix that. Not a great ball handler, but can shoot off the dribble rather well. All around a very good shooter. Main concern is low release point. Needs to pick up feet and talk on defense. This third guy, Prentice Hub, number 16 shooting guard out of Maryland, 6'3", 170, grade as a 4-star. Quick, crafty ball handler, but favors his left too heavily. Finesse finisher, quick hands on D. Low release point, but if it ain't broke.
Thanks, BK. Shout outs to BK.
Yep. Has a chance to win the starting point guard job in the offseason with the departure of Matt Farrell. We'll see.
For sure.
Yeah. No, I'm just thinking in my head right now. Okay.
Did he take any notes on Chris Doherty?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Chris Doherty, number 41 center nationally, out of Massachusetts, 6'8", 225, grades a 3-star. Good finisher, little to no post moves, gets manhandled in the trenches against guys his size. Needs to develop a mid-range game if he wants to survive at D1. So basically, Bragan doesn't like this kid.
Yeah, I like how he gets bodied, and he's I mean, that's what you want in a guy, right?
I mean, I think you would want them doing the bodying But yeah,
I was being sarcastic.
I know.
Man.
I didn't catch that.
They did have an eligible transfer as well coming in from UConn. We got Jawan Durham, 6'11", 215. He's a sophomore power forward. He didn't do much at all. He scored 45 points as a bench player in his only year with UConn. So expect you can't teach size. I will say that.
That's true.
6'11", nothing to be messed around with. But, like I said, Notre Dame has a lot of holes to fill, so we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Dan, of course, you have a second here for your first team. My God. Just chill on the bench. You're going to be our KJ Smith for a little bit, if you will.
Okay. I'll ride the pine pony for a little bit. I'm good with that.
Yeah, but you are our walk-on. You didn't do much of Pacific, but you're here now. So, so we're going to talk. Yeah, that's right. We're going to talk Wake Forest now. Again, another school that Bragan was going to cover. He gave me some notes on that. They're ranked 22nd nationally. They're fourth in the ACC. They got this guy, Jalen Horde. He's a 5-star from High Point, North Carolina, ranked 24th by 24/7, 22nd by ESPN. Bragan said he's one of the most complete scorers in the class. Doesn't seem confident in dribbling or finishing with his left hand, so that's something he needs to work on. Doesn't crash the boards as hard as he should, and he's an athletic guy. He's got a lot of potential, but maybe didn't play up to that in high school as much. So we'll see. He's a highly touted guy. Seemed to play more of a 4 or 5 in high school compared to the 3 that he's listed at. So kind of interested to see how he'll be used at the next level, but I noticed he was still pretty raw and lanky. So, definitely not my favorite guy in this class. I didn't see a lot from him. I don't think Bragan saw a lot from him. Despite him being a 5-star. Again, I'm really skeptical when it comes to these 5-stars, so that could be a little bias from me as well. But I'm not a big fan of Wake Forest in general. I think Danny Manning has gotten way too much credit for not doing enough. So
I can't disagree with that.
See. Yeah. I mean, he's got to prove it, and I don't know. I think Jalen Horde still needs a little work. So we'll see. We got Isaiah Musius, 6'8", 190 small forward. He's a 4-star from New Hampshire. Another top 100 guy, 74th by ESPN, 91st by 24/7. Bragan noted he can hit jumpers when open. It's not a primary source of scoring though. Plays both physical on both ends of the court, and he's very quick and fluid in the paint. Yeah, when I was watching him, he's a physical presence. He's a bulky dude, pretty good ball movement, pretty good court vision. So, we'll see. Again, skeptical, but yeah, he's a physical player. And then we got Jamie Lewis in the news. Jamie Lewis, 6'3", 185 combo guard, 3-star from Atlanta. He's ranked 275 by 24/7, so fairly low-ranked guy. Bragan notes he's an excellent attacker and needs to work on finishing at full speed, though. He's got a floor general mentality, and I'd have to agree with that. He looked kind of a step slow when I was watching him, but he's got great ball handling, passing, court vision skills. Didn't have much of a shot from what I saw. So he'll likely just be a distributor and a floor general. I think he should do that. He was a lot of drive and kick kind of play. And then there also wasn't much film on his defense, so Bragan said that could be a possible red flag. But he was originally an NC State commit and ended up going to Wake Forest. So there is that as well.
You're talking about Jamie Lewis, right?
Jamie Lewis in the news, yes.
I just found this. He was originally a top 60 recruit in his class before he had injuries that caused him to miss his senior season. That's something to note as well.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he looked like he maybe that's why he looked a step slow on the tape I saw. But yeah, I don't know. It looks like he has like the guard skills to be up there. Just a little odd that he's ranked so low, but
it has to do with injury. Yeah.
I appreciate that.
No problem. That's why I'm here.
That's right. My little sidekick. So we got
Okay.
Sharon Wright Jr., 6'5", 200-pound point guard, 3-star from Florence, South Carolina, ranked 295 by 24/7. Really, there's little to nothing on Sharon Wright Jr. In fact, when you look up his name, you will just find stuff about his dad, Sharon Wright Sr. He played in the NBA from 94 to 98. I never heard of him, but apparently he's a former lottery pick of the 76ers. He went 6th overall and did little to nothing in his career. Ended up playing overseas until about 2006, I believe. So he had a long career, but nothing really in the NBA. So, but Sharon Wright Jr., he averaged 16.5 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2.7 steals as a junior in high school. Senior stats not available. I think he played at a like a college preparatory school, and they must be a private school because they really couldn't find much on him. So, not much to say there. Put up good numbers at the public school he was at as a junior, and we'll hope he pans out. Christian Long, their last recruit for Wake Forest, 6'10", 240 center. He's a 3-star from Chatham, Virginia, ranked 366 by 24/7. He went to Hargrave Military Academy, which is a name that you'll probably hear quite a bit, surprisingly. Quite a few connections here to Hargrave Military Academy in the ACC, I noticed. So hopefully, military guy, hopefully that makes him tough. Again, another guy there's really not much tape on. I did see a little bit. It looked like he mostly just stands in the paint and dunks, but you can't teach size. Again, 6'10" guy, big dude. So he'll get some minutes for Danny Manning and the gang. So that's Wake Forest, y'all. I do want to take some time to note that we did cut a couple schools. We held a vote on the college basketball discussion group where we asked you guys which schools you were most excited to hear about. The schools that got the lowest votes, I believe, were Florida State and Louisville, so those guys were cut. If you are a Louisville or Florida State fan and wanted to see them in here, I guess you got to go vote on the group. So just a PSA, we're going to do that every week or every time we do one of these shows. It's to cut down a little bit on, we want to do this show for you guys. If you guys don't want to hear about a school, we're not going to talk about a school. So we are a show of the people for sure. So we're going to move right along here to NC State, ranked 35th nationally, 5th in the ACC. And they have a pretty strong class, actually, from what I saw. First up is Emmanuel Bates, 6'9", 195 center. He's a 4-star from Fayetteville, North Carolina, ranked 101 by 24/7 and 83 by ESPN. Turn on the tape, and first thing I notice is just a block party. He's a big dude who is really good defensively. Kind of undersized, but he's a good defender. He was on the same AAU team as Joey Baker from Duke, so some talent there. And he's a good finisher at the rim. He's kind of a walking alley-oop. He needs to develop some range, but he's decent offensively, kind of one-dimensional in the sense that he is just a walking alley-oop, but a good defender for sure. Also, I forgot to mention the other connection to Hargrave Military Academy. You guys know Kevin Keats, the NC State coach?
That name rings a bell. Yeah.
Yeah, so he actually got his head coaching start at Hargrave Military Academy, believe it or not.
Okay.
Yeah. I just happened to notice that. Let's see. So what are we doing here? There we go. Okay. Ian Steer, North Carolina State's other big recruit, 6'9", 261 center, 3-star from Fayetteville as well, went to the same high school as Bates. Both went to Northwood Temple Academy. Both played center. I did not see him on the court at the same time, so I'm assuming they were both using the 5 spot. But personally, I think Steer's a little better. I watched both tapes. I'll tend to lead to the offensive guy any day. Mr. Thrash over here likes the defense. I prefer the offense. But Steer, he's a buff dude. He bodies people down low. He's got great post moves. He's very athletic for his size. Being 261, you don't expect much, but really athletic guy, very strong. I think he's a little more versatile than Bates. He's a bigger offensive threat, whereas Bates' length makes him better defensively. I think they could complement each other well. I could definitely see Steer playing the 4, Bates playing the 5. I'm not sure if there's a need for those fill-ins, although I know NC State did graduate the Freeman brothers, and they need some help there. So, it's good that Keats is continuing to develop and getting his own guys in there. So I like them both. I prefer Steer, though. So
Okay.
Jericho Helms, maybe. 6'7", 190 small forward. He's a 3-star from St. Louis, ranked 140 by 24/7. He's a pretty raw guy. I saw a lot of awkward movement on the court. Feels like a guy who maybe grew a lot and is still learning how to play with the height. I couldn't find anything concrete on that. He just kind of strikes me as one of those guys. But he played the 2-3 spot in high school, and he definitely needs to work on his shot. Again, I think Bragan said it about one of his Notre Dame guys. There's no arc on his shot at all. It's basically the same thing with this Helms guy. He's got potential, but he needs some work. There's a very flat shot. It looked like he was just rim rattling the whole time. So we will see on him, kind of a developmental guy for Kevin Keats. They do have a couple of transfers coming in. CJ Bryce, one of my personal favorites, 6'5", 195 junior shooting guard from UNC Wilmington. Of course, Kevin Keats, former coach at UNC Wilmington, coach there, I believe became the coach of NC State in 2017, so last year was his first year. But Bryce is a part of that regime. Bryce averaged 17.4 points, 5.4 rebounds, 3 assists, and on 48% shooting in his sophomore year at Wilmington. And you may remember UNC Wilmington making it to the tournament 2 years in a row in Bryce's freshman and sophomore year. He helped give 2 scares to actually ACC schools. First, it was Duke in 2016, and then Virginia in 2017.
I remember that.
Very close games. I know in 2016, one of my worst, one thing I hate the most in this world is losing the first game on the first day of the tournament. And I actually picked Wilmington over Duke that year. Oh God, that was rough. Because I think that was that the year Duke won it all in 16? Didn't they?
Let's see.
Or did they lose? Because I felt like
that was the year Okafor was their guy, right?
Yeah, and Tyus was on that team too.
I think that was 15-16. Dan?
Yeah, I want to say that's what it's going to be. That would be my guess.
Either way. But anyway, I felt pretty stupid.
It was right around there. Yeah.
I felt pretty stupid because I picked Wilmington. Just this. It was the schedule maker's fault. You know that? That's what it was. Because if they put that game later in the day, I'm not nearly as upset about it. But Wilmington, they hung tight with Duke that year. And they hung tight with Virginia the year after. So Bryce is a very, very instrumental part to Kevin Keats' system at Wilmington when he was there, when he followed him when he got the job. Adding a guy who, Keats recruited, it could be huge, especially for a guy as productive as CJ Bryce. So I really like that move. I think he's going to jump right in and play a big role for the Wolfpack. They also have Devin Daniels. He's a 6'5", 200 sophomore, transferred in from Utah. Again, another productive guy. Averaged 9.9 points, 4.6 rebounds, 2.7 assists on 57% shooting, and 40% shooting from 3 in his freshman year at Utah. So to be that productive as a freshman in a Pac-12 school, yeah, really can't say much more than that. So really good class from Kevin Keats. Kind of surprised not to see it ranked a little higher, but really good moves. I like what he's doing. He's honestly one of my favorite coaches in the nation right now as far as just what he does. And, yeah, I like him. So we are going to finally get to our KJ Smith, Mr. Dan Hamer. You can talk Pittsburgh basketball now. You have the privilege of covering the bottom feeder of the ACC, who's actually not the bottom feeder in recruiting. So tell us about Pittsburgh. They're 37th nationally, 6th in the ACC, and they got this guy, Trey McGowan. So I will let you have the floor.
Yep, Trey McGowan's a 6'3", combo guard, 4-star from Hargraves. For me, he's known more as a scoring point guard. I see him more as a point guard in college than a shooting guard. So I think they'll primarily switch to that. Good vision on the break. Great size of defender. I think he needs to bulk up a little bit. Looks like a good release to me, but more of a slashing point guard than anything. But he needs to develop, I would say, the range, more consistent range a little bit for my liking for being a point guard.
And he was teammates
Alex,
with Christian Loring, the
Yes.
Wake Forest guy, I believe.
Yep.
So
So he has connections there, and then we'll see how he does. Obviously, with Capel as his coach, we'll see how he does. Capel getting the shot there, so we'll see how Capel does there. But that's besides the point. Next, I've got Adis Tony.
That's how I'd pronounce it.
6'6", 190 small forward. 4-star from Jasper. Ranked 115 by 24/7. Very good shooter in the mid-range. An athletic wing. Probably needs to develop a three-point shot for my liking. I see him more as a shooting guard in college because of the handles that he has. Very pesky defender. If he stays as a forward, I see him more as a point forward.
He had some dirty dunks in high school.
He did.
I only watched a little bit on, but dirty dunks. So.
Yeah, and then Xavier Johnson. Aaron knows a lot about this guy.
Yes, I do. Don't remind me.
Well, I'm going to remind you in a minute. So, 6'3", 170, combo guard. All credit to Aaron for these notes. Pesky defender, great attacker towards the rim. Not really a great shooter. Probably needs to work on that as soon as he gets into school. But he makes up for it with his decision-making and rim attacking. Tons of room to grow. Probably, Aaron, I don't know if you agree with this, probably a 3 to 4 year guy.
Oh, I agree with that, definitely.
And then seems to make good decisions with the ball. Probably looking at more of a point guard role for him, I would say.
And it's going to be interesting how that works out with him and Trey McGowan's. And you said you see him as a point guard. I wonder how the Pittsburgh head coach, remind me his name. He was at Duke.
Capel.
Jeff Capel.
Yep, that guy. I'm curious how he gets Xavier Johnson and Trey McGowan's on the court at the same time. Xavier was a Nebraska commit. That's how I know all about him. I was excited for him.
I didn't see much in McGowan's tape to definitively say this, but I think he's versatile enough to where he could transition to either the one or the two to be able to get him on the court at the same time. So
I would agree with that. I just see him more as a point guard because of his vision and everything else.
I agree.
And I always say this: having options is not always a bad thing.
Especially Pittsburgh. They need everything.
They can only go from here, so
yeah, you got nowhere to go but up. What 0-18 in the ACC, obviously, and they didn't even really get close to a win. So
they didn't. I remember they lost by 40 points one time.
Yeah, wasn't North Carolina beating them by 40 points in the half or something?
Something like that. That's beside the point.
It was just so pathetic. So pathetic. Capel, we wish you the best of luck, obviously, but
hopefully he does better this job than his last couple jobs. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we have a transfer from St. John's, Malik Ellison, 6'6", 215, 7.4 points per game, 3.3 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and 42% from the floor. So maybe able to make an impact there. He may be the guy that fills in as a shooting guard, I would say. And maybe Capel brings Xavier Johnson off the bench or finds a different way to go with a 3-guard lineup.
Yeah, Ellison is probably more capable at this point to jump in. So we might see Xavier Johnson come off the bench.
That'd be my guess.
Yeah. All right, Dan. Now the school you should have rooted for. So are you a Syracuse alum? Did you go there or?
No.
Okay.
No.
You went to one of those JUCO schools, didn't you?
What's that?
You went to one of those JUCO schools, didn't you?
Actually, I did.
Hey, there you go.
At least you're honest.
JUCO Dan over here. Tell us about Syracuse. I know you got sources. I know you got all this stuff, for the school that you should have rooted for. So go ahead and tell us about Jalen Carey.
You act like I don't root for him. Jalen Carey, 6'3", 170, combo guard. I see him from Montclair. He's ranked 59 by ESPN, or 59 by 24/7, excuse me, and then 38 by ESPN. I see him more as a slashing guard. Probably going to play the point. Good release. Needs to get to be a more consistent shooter. Reads the floor incredibly well. I see him more as probably the sixth man on this team. That would be my guess right off the bat. But
I agree. He seems much more like a come off the bench guy. I wasn't too super impressed with his tape. Just didn't do enough to impress me. So a six man definitely fits him at this point.
right,
But he could
he's
grow.
definitely probably looking at a 3 to 4 year project for me, given what I saw in the tape.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we're going to go with Robert Braswell, 6'9" power forward from 3-star from Blithwood, South Carolina, rank 148. He's got good range for a power forward, very lanky, needs to bulk up. Fits right into the zone, though. His length is going to be perfect for them. Probably looking at decent playing time this year due to lack of depth in the front court. And just bulking up and getting more consistent with his range, I would say, for him. And then we'll move on to the coach's son.
Oh, your boy, Buddy.
I'm going to disappoint some people here. Buddy Boeheim.
You know, there is a lot of pressure on you. We do have quite a few Q's fans in the group.
I know.
So. Shout outs to Gary and Austin Richardson. So
Yeah.
Gary's going to hate me for this, but
all right.
6'5", shooting guard from Wolfboro, New Hampshire, originally from Janesville, DeWitt. He fits right into 2-3 at the top, being 6'5". Very good shooter. My biggest he needs to get better at attacking the rim. He's a good catch and shoot guy. Not bad handles, but needs to work on those a little bit. Good vision. The only thing about him that I have to note is he's probably going to redshirt, I would say, due to how crowded the backcourt is with Carey coming in there and the Tyus Battle being there and Frank Howard, and then the transfer to tie that into it. Elijah Hughes coming in from Southeast Carolina. 7.8.
So which one? South or east?
East.
There
Sorry. 7.8 points per game. I see him as ahead of the depth chart, ahead of Buddy Boeheim, to tie that into it. So I see Buddy as the redshirting guy out of this class, if anybody does, I would say.
Yeah, the little I saw of Buddy, I don't think he went up against that good a competition. I don't think Wolfboro, New Hampshire is necessarily a basketball hotbed. So I think redshirting would be good for him because I think otherwise he'd have a pretty rude awakening to the talent in the ACC. So that's what I noticed.
I would agree with that.
Yep.
And then he also played in smaller school up here, so
Okay.
basically the same.
All right. Next up, we got Georgia Tech, ranked 45th nationally, 8th in the ACC. Ron, go ahead and tell us. Oh, we got another Montverde dude, don't we?
We do.
All right. Go for it.
So Michael DeVoe, 4-star from Monteverde, ranked 48th by 24/7, 45 by ESPN, 6'4", 175 point. Some of the things I noticed, he's a tall point guard, so he has good length. He has good potential as far as defense, lateral quickness. The combination of his length and lateral quickness give him great defensive potential. One thing to note, this is the first 4-star headed to Georgia Tech since Tadrick Jackson in 2014.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. I know.
Who's coach there? Is it Pastner?
Yeah, Josh Pastner.
Okay. All right. Gotcha.
He knows when to pass, when he draws the defense in, when attacking. So there was a lot of times where he was attacking and he would dump it off to the big man or kick it out. So he knows how to draw the defense in and how to kick it out. I like that. He has a smooth lefty stroke. Can attack and finish at the rim. He doesn't seem overly athletic. Like, he doesn't jump out the gym at you. I didn't see too many dunks. a lot of what I saw was him being a floor general, him shooting the ball from deep, which could fit in well. I mean, he's 6'4", so this year he might come off the bench this year. This year he's going to be asked to, hey, just go out there, be a 3-and-D guy. We're going to work on you. We're going to build your game off the skills you already have.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He's definitely not too intimidating on the floor athletically, and he's going to need some work. But hey, if he's got a shot, then he can
does.
Provide.
He does have a
something,
shot.
So,
that's one thing.
yeah.
That's one thing I noticed. Kristen, I'm not even going to try.
Wait. Let me. Oh, never mind.
Try it.
Sejlund?
Yeah.
I'm not. No, Christian.
Jolund.
Christian. He's a native of Norway. They moved to the U.S. 3 years ago.
No way.
I was curious. I was like, where's this guy from?
That's definitely a Scandinavian name. So.
Okay, when I was watching this tape, I was like, okay, he can shoot a little bit. So I put down shooting as his biggest strength.
Uh-oh.
Then
There's a but.
But then I noticed, correction, he can shoot the hell out of the ball. He can shoot that ball.
Ooh. Okay.
He's 6'9", I forgot to mention this. 6'9", 190, small forward from Caddy, Texas, ranked 205 by 24/7. He can shoot the ball. He can shoot it from deep. It doesn't matter. That was his primary game. When I was watching his tape, I saw him shoot the ball a lot. He needs to put on some weight because him being 6'9", he's going to be that tweener. He's going to be a small forward, power forward. This year I see him just coming off the bench, pastor saying, hey, go catch fire, go shoot the ball. That's all we need you to do.
So he's primarily a catch and shoot guy?
Primarily, yeah. There were some times I saw him do a couple dribbling moves off and pull it from deep, but yes, mainly catch and shoot. One of the big areas of improvement that I noticed with him is obviously being 6'9". He needs to work on his weight, put on some weight, so
he
can.
He definitely needs to bulk up. I'm looking at him right now, and
he's scrawny.
Skinny mini.
He's scrawny. Yeah. He needs to work on that so he can be physical and rebound on the glass, and that will come with weight room prep. In his tape, I noticed he could defend the rim at a decent level in high school. Now, one thing I caveat with that is that could also be because he was the tallest guy there, and he was the most athletic. There was a lot of times where I saw him block a shot and defend the rim. I'm not buying into that too much. I just wanted to note that. Didn't see too many dribble drives into the paint. There was a couple I saw, but that wasn't his primary focus. His primary focus was obviously shooting. His athleticism doesn't jump out at you, but he does have some athleticism. I did notice some.
He's a good finisher at the rim. If he bulks up, he could be special.
I like him.
So.
I like him a lot, especially because he can shoot the hell out of the ball.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
This next guy I have, Khaled Moore, 6'6", 175, small forward, 3-star, from Jamaica, New York. Not to be confused with the real Jamaica.
You ever do that, Dan? You ever confuse Jamaica, New York with the real Jamaica? Is it anything like?
Every day.
Have you ever been to Jamaica, New York?
No, it's just outside of New York City. So.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't know. Right, so, anyways, he's ranked 211 by 24/7. One thing I noticed, his biggest strength seems to be attacking, and which fits in well with these other two freshmen. I like the fit of all three together. One's a shooter, one's an attacker, one can pretty much do it all, and that's DeVoe. He needs to become a more consistent shooter. This is his words. He needs to become a more consistent shooter and a more all-around player who plays both offense and defense, so essentially a two-way player. Like I said, he needs to improve his shooting and strength. I noticed his mechanics are decent for his mid-range, but I didn't see a lot of threes. He's a very lanky and small kid, so he's going to have to put on weight because if he's a driver, him being 175, he's going to get thrown to the ground a lot in the ACC. One thing I did notice, he played with Colt Anthony. I don't know if you're familiar with him. I'm assuming you are.
Name does not ring a bell.
And Moses.
Should it?
It should. He's one of the top guys in 19 class.
Oh. Yeah, I don't look ahead that much.
He's
I
like
really don't.
top 15, I think.
Okay.
Wow.
Greg Anthony's son, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he played with Cole Anthony and Moses Brown at Archbishop Milloy. So that's one thing I did notice. He had talent around him. So that could rub off. We'll see.
Well, that's probably good for a school like Georgia Tech.
It is. It is good. I like.
He's not going to have elite talent around him.
No. I like these three freshmen that Georgia Tech brought in. This transfer they got from Tennessee. He was originally Shabri Phillips, 6'3", 192 junior shooting guard from Tennessee. Was originally 261 in the class of 2015. Over his two years at Tennessee, he averaged about 5 points a game at 18 minutes per game. Seems to be a shooter. At one point, he led all freshmen in SEC play in three-point percentage. So he can shoot the ball. Pastner looks forward to having him as a veteran presence on the team because he's a junior. He'll help bring these young guys along.
All right. Anything else to add?
That should be it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No. Okay. We'll move on to Virginia Tech then. They're ranked 9th in the ACC, 49th nationally. One of my favorite guys that I saw tape on in the ACC here, Landers Nolly, 6'7", 195 small forward. He's a 4-star from Fairburn, Georgia. He's ranked 65th by 24/7, 93 by ESPN. I think it's pretty disrespected, honestly. I think he deserves to be a little higher. He's a 3-time state champion in high school. Again, that's something I always love to see. I had one source say that he averaged 30 points per game in high school in his senior year. I could not confirm that, but again, I wouldn't doubt that. He's a really, really good scorer. In fact, Bleacher Report did an article on him. Bleacher Report's Tim Daniels called him, quote, one of the best pure shooters in the class. And the tape don't lie. He's got very good court vision. He was making shots with 2 or 3 guys in his face from range, and he easily creates his own shots without issue. He's got great guard skills, and he looks like he's going to be a really good college player. One thing to note, he was an original Georgia commit, actually decommitted the next day, and then a week later goes to Virginia Tech. So I don't know what was going on there, but apparently he made too snappy of a decision and regretted it quite quickly. So I don't know if that sets off any red flags, but he's a heck of a ball player. So he'll do good for Buzz Williams, and I think he steps in and just provides some shooting right away. So next up we got John Kabongo, 6'3", 160 point guard, 3-star from Huntington, West Virginia, ranked 231 by 24/7. Fun name to say. He's going to be on the all-name team, I believe. So anytime you can throw the bongo in there. But yeah, he's an underrated shooter. Again, another guy that I think should be a little higher. He has got some dirty ball handling skills. Another guy you're going to watch and need a shower afterwards. He's a great passer. He looks like he has all the tools to develop into a great college point guard. I'm really surprised he's not ranked higher. I think that I didn't really see too many flaws in his game. So some disrespect. Buzz Williams getting a great guy there. And then rounding out the class, we got Jaron McAllister, 6'3", 165 shooting guard. He's from Wake Forest, North Carolina, another 3-star, ranked 253. This guy, again, surprised me. Virginia Tech, great class. Good on you, Buzz. Mad hops for his size. Honestly, when I was watching him, I thought he was like 6'6", 6'7", or 6'8", maybe. He's 6'3". He's just a tremendous finisher offensively. He's a great blocker, high energy guy. One of the better defenders I saw tape on, honestly. And he's 6'3". He's 6'3". But he's a great defender. And he's a one-man offense. He can battle inside, has a great stroke from deep. He's a shooting guard who looks like he could be a power forward. Very unique skill set. I don't know who is ranking these Virginia Tech guys, but some serious disrespect going on. So kudos to Buzz. That's all I got to say about that. Moving on to Clemson, unless anyone has anything to throw in on Virginia Tech.
No, pretty much what you said. I like
Y'all
it.
out there, go watch the Virginia Tech tape. It's good. I promise you. We're going to move on.
Okay.
Clemson. Aaron, you're up.
All right. Clemson, ranked 57th nationally, 10th in the ACC. Their first guy they have, the highest rated guy they have, John Newman, 6'5", 180 shooting guard.
Josh Newman.
It's John. You messed that up.
What?
It is John.
Did I?
Yes.
Ah, dang it. I feel stupid. All right, John Newman, go on.
I was confused. I actually meant to yell at you for that.
Oh, okay. Alex made a mistake. Oh, jeez. Go on.
John Newman, 6'5", 180 shooting guard, 3-star from Greensboro, North Carolina. Ranked 162 by 24/7. He's one of those guys that can attack the rim. He's athletic. His mid-range, he has a good mid-range jumper. From what I could tell, his mechanics seem to be a little bit That's just me. I like a pure stroke, so when I look at mechanics, I'm one of the more bigger critics on mechanics, I guess. He can absorb contact very well when attacking the rim, so he knows how to draw fouls, get to the rim, and get to the free throw line, essentially, which is very key moving forward. His biggest weakness is a jumper. I did say he can make the mid-range, but when he's at the three-point line, I didn't see many, and opponents seem to be giving him space, which is a red flag to me. Huge red flag. There's nothing special about him. He's a good all-around guy. He needs to work on his jumper. I didn't see too much defense from him. That doesn't mean he doesn't play great defense, but I didn't see any in his highlights or any in his tape. So there's nothing special. A very solid prospect. He'll be a good 2-3 year guy moving forward. I envision Clemson brought back quite a bit this year, so I envision he'll sit on the bench. Anything else?
Proceed.
Okay, proceed. Trey Jamison. This guy was hard to find tape on. 6'11", 245 center, 3-star from Hoover, Alabama. Ranked 207 by 24/7. He didn't have any YouTube themes. He didn't have any tape. All I could find was his huddle tape. He always seems to be attacking the glass on both offense and defense. He's always going at the glass. He has a soft touch around a basket. There was a couple times where I saw him do a soft lefty hook or soft righty hook. They showed his stats for the season. He didn't seem to be a rim protector at all. He had like 30 blocks on the season. So that's one thing he's going to need to work on moving forward, especially being 6'11". Especially if he wants to get playing time in the ACC. Mm-hmm. I did not see a jumper. His primary focus was in the paint. And like I said before, he has a very high motor when attacking the glass. This last guy, Hunter Tyson, 6'7", 180, small forward, 3-star, from Gastonia, North Carolina, ranked 24/7 by 24/7.
Love it.
He has a good jumper and can drive to the rim pretty well. Those are his strengths. When he played on the EBYL circuit this past year, one of the AAU circuits, he seemed to struggle a little bit, and that caused his stock to drop back a bit. He seems he can shoot and drive, which is good. He's a very lanky kid, needs to put on muscle. He won't see the court much next season. I didn't see much on this kid other than him driving and attacking.
Yeah, seems like a very, average meh player. Nothing special.
Yeah, he'll be a good he'll be a development guy. 2-3 years down the road, we'll see where he is.
For sure. And that is all on Clemson, isn't it?
It is. That is all.
Okay. Dan the Man, Virginia. What we got, son?
We got a couple international guys. We got another guy that Aaron knows well, Francisco Cabarro, 7 foot, 215, 4-star. Couldn't really find a lot on him. It's a block party. The highlights that I saw, it was basically a block party for him.
Mm-hmm.
He's good around the rim, good stroke around the rim. The only thing for him is he needs to develop a shot outside of the paint, basically, for me. A mid-range game of sorts. Great stroke from the line from what I saw. That's basically what a lot of his highlights were, him shooting free throws. So,
yep. He's not lying. He's not lying.
No, I know. I saw that tape too. That's funny.
I mean, there's like I said, with these international guys, it's tough to find a lot of film. That's the only problem for them.
As a 7-foot guy, there's worse things you could be than a good free throw shooter. So
this is true.
So he just needs to work on his all-around offensive game, I guess is the way I would put it. So
yeah.
Next, we got Cody Statman, another name probably for the names list for best names of the season so far.
No.
Okay. Well then, you shut that down pretty quick.
Yeah. Listen, I'm the commish of the all name team. Okay.
I see how it is. Okay then.
Yeah.
Carry on.
He's a candidate.
Go for it.
So, 6'6", small forward, 3-star from Australia, dead-eye shooter.
Wait, he kills people? That's not allowed, man. That's not allowed in college basketball.
He kills people with his shooting.
Oh, Lord have mercy. What we got to do?
Needs to work on basically everything else besides his shooting.
Okay.
I mean, that's another guy that wasn't a lot of film. He's a 3-and-D guy for UVA. I mean, he'll be a good shooter for them, but he's a guy that's going to come off the bench probably definitely a 4-year project.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Tony Bennett really doesn't have a lot of shooters, and he doesn't really need a lot of shooters. So, to have a guy that can come off the bench and nail some threes, I think that's fine for Bennett.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. That's definitely a big get for him, as bad as that sounds, shooting-wise, so that's huge for them. Kihei Clark, 5'9" point guard. Biggest note I have in him, what he lacks in size, he makes up for in quickness. Excellent distributor of the ball. Good stroke. Needs to work on just more consistency with his shooting. And I have him as one of my most underrated defenders this class as well.
He is tiny.
He is tiny.
I mean, my God, you watch him on the court, it's like, oh my God.
I thought he was a freshman in high school when I first saw the tape.
I wouldn't doubt it. It's but yeah, I mean, obviously you're going to get underrated when you're that small. So he's got a lot to prove at the next level. He is just he's a little beetle on the court,
Yep.
So yeah. What we got next? We got Boston College next, ranked 68th nationally, 12th in the ACC. Another one that Bragan was going to take. He passed it off to Dan, and I know Dan kind of has a little man crush on Jarius Hamilton, so I'll let you take it.
You stole my thunder. This is probably, you may like Zion, but I like Jarius Hamilton 10 times more than I will ever like Zion.
Wow. The disrespect.
Nobody likes Zion. Nobody likes Zion.
I thought I was just going to get disrespect from the Thrash Man over here, but instead, I'm getting disrespected by Dan.
You chose poorly.
Dan, you chose poorly Hammer over here.
That's fair.
Disrespecting. All right, go on.
He's an absolute steal for BC. I don't know, like I told you, Alex, I don't know how he got out of North Carolina.
That's true.
Great length, really good stroke from the outside, excellent at attacking the rim, really good handles for his size, and I couldn't really find a negative. The only thing I didn't really see on his tape was defensive-wise. but he's tall enough and has big enough wingspan where he can fit right in defensively. So I would say he's going to fit really well into BC's system.
Yeah, top 100 guys, with the talent of Jarius Hamilton, you don't see make it out of North Carolina. You almost certainly always see him go to Duke or UNC or NC State.
Yep.
But to choose Boston College, it's a real head scratcher, and it definitely feels like, with a guy as big and bulky and with the post moves as Jarius Hamilton, you wonder why BC, but hey, it's a good pickup for them for sure.
Yeah, I couldn't really find anything on why he chose them over anybody else. So
I bet he just, rolled a dice or something, and just had all the 6 choices on it or whatever.
Yeah.
BC's
he could have
logo
chosen
came up.
Nebraska then.
Oh God! Don't get Aaron started.
Let's stop.
Oh God!
Next we've got Winston Tabbs, a 6 foot.
Now this guy can make the all-name team. I like that name.
No.
Winston. Do you know how he spells Winston? It's
Yes.
WYNSTO. That's cool. I like it.
No. 6'2" combo guard, the 3-star from Maryland. Really good shooter, great athleticism, good at attacking the rim. My biggest thing is he needs to work on his defense. He's got good vision. Probably looking at the 2 guard, I would say, for BC. That was all I had on. That was all I could find on him. Not a lot of tape on him either that I could find.
Okay. Last up, we have Miami, which I am tasked with the task, I guess, of disappointing Miami fans in the group, because I believe in the poll they were like the 3rd highest voted ACC school you guys wanted to hear about.
Were they really?
Yeah, I think so. And it's funny. We got a lot of the U fans.
That is funny.
And yet Miami is unranked in the recruiting classes. They don't have a single incoming freshman, believe it or not. Let me tell you about this. So I was doing a little research on Miami. I found out they offered, and I don't know how this compares to other schools. I really don't. But they offered 39 guys scholarships.
That's about average.
Okay. Well, everyone else committed to other schools already except for one. They have this guy, Kion Boyd, who's a 6'5", 210 shooting guard from Washington, D.C., but yet Virginia Tech and Maryland are the front runners right now. So Miami isn't even the front runner to land their only guy that they've offered that's even available. So I don't necessarily know what the issue is. I believe they might have had some scandal or something happen with Miami. Am I wrong?
Yep, that happened towards the end of the year, and that kind of scared away anybody that was considering going there.
Was it recruiting violations or what?
I can't. Bragan was talking about it with me. I remember because he's the one that brought it up. I think he's the one that remembered it, but I think it was a recruiting violation. I want to say it was.
Okay.
Did it have to do with Lonnie Walker, probably?
I think so, because I think that finally came back to get him with that.
I think I remember seeing something about that. It was near the end of the year, and I wasn't really paying attention at that point, but I think I remember vaguely seeing something about that.
The good news for Miami, I believe they have a lot of returners. They didn't lose too terribly much except for, Lonnie Walker and I think maybe another senior.
Bruce Brown.
That's right. Yep. So I think they have quite a bit returning. So, not necessarily a bad thing, not necessarily a good thing either. You always want a class coming in. They do have one eligible transfer. They got Miles Wilson. He's a 6'5", 190 sophomore shooting guard from Mount St. Mary's. He averaged 11.8 points, 3.9 rebounds, 45% shooting, and shot 36% from the 3. He played 29 minutes per game in his freshman year at the Mount. I guess those are the numbers you want to put up at a small school like the Mount. So we'll see if he can make the transition. Likely we'll get some minutes. Nothing too drastic, but Jim Larinaga lacking in his 2018 class, but he's always going to bring it. Miami's one of those teams that always gets underrated year to year and always finds a way to make some noise. So hopefully they can rebound from the disappointing loss to Loyola in the tourney. So
that's right.
Although everyone picked Loyola.
I mean, obviously.
Right? So You know, it's funny about that pick.
You know, who did it?
About
Who
that
did
pick,
it?
like I told myself going into, I'm like, I'm not picking Loyola. Like that's just such a trendy pick. If it's a trendy pick, I don't go for it.
That was the way I
But,
felt too, and that bit me so hard.
I ended up going with them, and I paid off. But then, you know, I had Tennessee go into the title game, and then they beat Tennessee on the buzzer beater. You know, so.
Don't even get me started about UVA in the tournament.
Oh, we don't. You know, I will say I forgot to declare. I will now stop making the joke. I will now acknowledge UVA is a school again. It's mid-July. It's time to forgive and forget. Tony Bennett, we're sorry for your loss, but you are welcome back to the ranks of being an actual coach at an actual school that will actually recognize. So congratulations on that. Although we did have some fun on April Fool's Day, right?
We did. That was fun. Not everyone got the joke.
No, but it was a fun 5 hours or so.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that does it. Overall impressions of the ACC class, guys.
I like it top to bottom.
For me, it's better than the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Top to bottom wise, it's better than the Big Ten. Bigger, better. I don't know how to say it the right way, but guys that have further that they can go, I guess is the way I would say it, or guys that have a higher ceiling is a better way I would say it. Guys that have a higher ceiling, higher ceiling than the Big Ten for me.
My two takeaways. Very surprised with Virginia Tech. Very underrated class, I think. I think you should all go watch tape on them. And, of course, Zion Williamson. Go watch your tape on him. He's amazing. I think we're going to get out of here. Guys, any last words?
Nope.
That'll be it.
All right, guys, for myself, Aaron Thrash, Dan Hamer, we're getting out of here. Thank you for listening to episode 3 of the College Basketball Discussion Podcast. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Hopefully, stay tuned to the group. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.